Hello everyone, this is Maki. Do you like CrossBone Gundam? I absolutely love it too! It's amazing that this series has been published as a comic for over 30 years. It's also a legendary work that helped lay the foundation for many new titles and kept the Gundam franchise alive and popular. Recently, an event was held at Gundam Base in Japan where Yuichi Hasegawa, the writer of CrossBone Gundam, spoke in front of fans. He shared his thoughts on creating the series and enjoyed hearing the fans' impressions. Now I'd like to share what Mr. Hasegawa said about the world of CrossBone Gundam. Before we dive in, I have a quick announcement. On my channel, we accept support through memberships. For just 99 cents a month, you can get a name badge and comment stamps. Now, let's begin. First, let's discuss Kinkedo Berah. They played the protagonist and heroine in Gundam F91. Seabook uses the alias Kinkedo now and fights as a space pirate. Meanwhile, Cecily uses the name Berah Ronan, a symbolic name tied to an organization called the CrossBone Vanguard, as she takes on the role of pirate leader. Yoshiyuki Tomino and Mr. Hasegawa co-created the first installment of CrossBone Gundam. Notably, even the mobile suit designs reflect Mr. Tomino's input. During the collaboration, Mr. Tomino made a surprising suggestion to Mr. Hasegawa. He said it's fine if you decide to kill off Kinkedo and Berah in the story. That's quite a bold proposal. In response, Hasegawa said after watching the ending of F91, I just couldn't bring myself to depict the conclusion like that. I wonder what kind of scenario Mr. Tomino had in mind for Kinkedo and the others to meet their end. Then again, Mr. Tomino is well known for his complex and sometimes cryptic way of speaking. Often, it's better not to take his words too literally. Perhaps what he really meant was to give Mr. Hasegawa full creative freedom, something like consider this your own story and write it as you wish. Of course, that's just my personal interpretation. Mr. Hasegawa also shared his thoughts on the story's main mobile suit, the CrossBone Gundam. When I first saw the proposal for CrossBone Gundam, I was shocked. It felt like a story in which Zeon Gundam would become the protagonist after the original 0079. If a Titan's Gundam had appeared as the main suit after Zeta Gundam, the audience would have been completely caught off guard. So I made a conscious effort to use that surprise effectively, with care and consideration. Some fans might find Mr. Hasegawa's comment a bit hard to grasp. However, an important detail to note is that the planning for CrossBone Gundam began 30 years ago. Today, it's not unusual to see Gundams operated by enemy factions. In GX, for example, there's a scene where the Zeon forces capture and use a Gundam. The Zeta Gundam spin-off Advance of Zeta features Hazel, which could just as well be called the Titan's Gundam. However, CrossBone Gundam was conceived before these kinds of enemy Gundams became common in the franchise. Thanks to the creative efforts of Mr. Hasegawa and Mr. Tomino, Gundams used by antagonist factions became a familiar and defining element of the series. Mr. Hasegawa shared that he struggled to portray Zabine's character. Zabine shows the rival who stands in Kinkedo's way. He made a strong impression on fans, but her screen time was limited in F91. Because of that, Mr. Hasegawa had to put in a lot of effort to analyze Zabine's ideology. He focused on the idea that Zabine was strongly idealistic about aristocracy. In a recently released story called First Cross, Zabine is shown just after the CrossBone Vanguard's defeat. Hasegawa depicted Zabine's emotional state based on the idea that people with strong ideals often end up in a pitiful state after experiencing defeat. F91 was originally planned as a prequel to a television series. Consequently, Seabook and Zabine barely interacted in the story. This made it especially challenging for Mr. Hasegawa to determine how Zabine should be portrayed. In the CrossBone Gundam storyline, Zabine clings to the ideology of aristocracy and meets a tragic end. Some fans were likely surprised by how quickly Zabine's role came to a close. However, it was perhaps inevitable for someone like Zabine, a man who didn't act on his own volition, but rather relied entirely on a belief system crafted by others. The CrossBone Gundam series has had a huge influence on many other Gundam stories. Although Mr. Hasegawa doesn't boast about his creations, many other creators voluntarily respect the settings he established when writing their own stories. One iconic mobile suit is the F-89. It was developed as a testbed to examine new technologies in preparation for the F-90 series. In the fastest Formula series, the F-89 plays an important role as a key mobile suit. Its appearance and significance in the series is also a testament to the legacy of the CrossBone Gundam series. However, Mr. Hasegawa had this to say about the F-89. I consider the F-89 to be a work of Kunio Okawara. I have no intention of claiming it as my own personal creation. Perhaps because of this mindset, many creators feel free to include elements from the CrossBone Gundam series in their works. This attitude is similar to the one Mr. Tomino expressed earlier. Respecting the freedom and individuality of fellow creators may be the key to keeping the entire series thriving. Lastly, a more niche topic was discussed. The topic was the size difference between the Gundam F91 and the CrossBone Gundam. The CrossBone Gundam X1 has a head height of 15.9 meters. Meanwhile, the Gundam F91 has a head height of 15.2 meters. So, the CrossBone Gundam X1 is just slightly bigger. Mobile suits of this era tend to be compact, yet high performance. The CrossBone Gundam X1 was a state-of-the-art model when it was completed, and the fact that it is slightly larger than the F91 reflects Mr. Hasegawa's attention to detail. Here's what he had to say. The CrossBone Gundam is bigger than the F91 because it has thicker armor. It's a very simple explanation. The CrossBone Gundam was designed for missions in which a small group would fight many enemies, so its design philosophy differs from that of the F91, which was built for standard military operations. That's the reasoning behind the size difference. The Gundam series is full of creative passion, even in the tiniest details and specifications. Let's keep supporting the CrossBone Gundam series. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. See you in the next episode.